Midnight Ramen is a minimally edited, live recorded podcast that takes place at midnight. Although Michael may not be consuming food, it's time to get your bowls out. It's chow time.
But welcome back to you. Break stride, sailing me. Free falling, choose my enemy. Free from the things you say. It will all come back someday.
Good evening, gamers and other folks alike. I hope y'all are doing good tonight. You are listening to Midnight Round with Michael, or watching. If you're watching, okay, sure. I don't see why not. Hold on one second. If you're watching, hold on. Sorry, I had to do something. The voices took over, so I had to do something real quick. Since, hold on. If you want to watch this live, you can go to twitch.tv/MeltLivic Original, all one word. When these go live, typically on Thursdays at midnight Central Time. I don't think I've ever explained that. Womp womp. Huh. Whatever. So anyways, eyeball. I just derailed myself. How did I do that? So you can go to twitch.tv where you can, when this goes live, when I do these, you can interact in the chat. You can make the episode go in whichever way that it does. You can help manipulate that. You won't show up on screen because I don't trust that. But yeah, you can also watch this happen unedited, again live, but you can also watch the after show or basically edit this and do some other stuff as well for an undisclosed amount of time until I get tired or something, whatever. Because yeah. And yeah, I was going to say there's something else, but no, not really. I wonder if honestly, I've never really checked it, but like if the stream itself does die, because it has happened where it's like freezing or whatever. I wonder if the video itself, even though it's not like actively streaming, since it is being uploaded to it, if that video of it is still always there. But you only have for like a 2-window gap until it goes away, because that's how I have my stuff set up, and I kind of don't care that it goes away, because that's the good nature of it. I feel like these episodes, for sure, if like there was a good stream that I wanted to keep up, I'll keep it up, but like there's no reason for me to do that. But yeah. But the good thing about it, when this episode, when it's gone on Twitch, goes away, you can still watch it on YouTube, as well as all other, like 108 episodes, I think that's right, on there, as well as going on to Spotify, you can just listen to it. I think it also has some video, but I'm not sure. But that's only for like episode 100 and on, maybe eventually all other episodes, but I would have to literally spend over 100 hours waiting for them to upload, and I do not have the time nor patience to wait for that. It's already a pain in the butt to get those up, like to get them up. Not because they take a long time. It is because they take a long time. Just because of the process, you have to manually say, "Oh, I'm gonna upload it," and it takes like a long time for that to happen. And since it's a video and since it's an hour long, it takes a longer time to do it. And yeah, but you know what isn't as long, typically. This week's episode was like almost as long as an episode of one of these. The radio show version of this, where it was like a precursor to this. Precursor to the precursor, more or less. And that was when I was doing it at my college radio station. And the episode that I just put out it's a very good episode. If you want to start listening to them, you get a good idea of what the show is and some of the bits that have occurred, or it's a good primer for if you want to know what the show is about. Because not only do I do bits in it and like you get the flow of the process, you can also listen to the music along as well with it. But like I didn't know it while I was editing it. I started one of my long running bits of the show that episode. I was like surprised that I did it. I'm like, no way. Uh, and if you want to know which one it is, you have to listen to the episode. You have to listen to the episode. I'm not going to say when. I'm not going to say where. But it happens. But I feel like on that episode too, it is especially like specifically made to be a primer episode. It's like it's a promo, like a promo episode. So it's like structured in a way that it is meant to be longer, where I talked a lot more that episode. Like even without doing the station calls and whatever, doing the station calls and news things, it ended up being like 52 minutes. Like the other episodes are like 30 some minutes, which I think from this point on, I think they do get longer typically because I know what I'm actually doing. I know how to fill the time up. But yeah, I don't know. But yeah, very good episode to start on. Starting this episode 7, I want to say, on that one. Hold on, I can actually check. Yes, episode 7. It was episode 7. Yeah. It literally says promo. Start on that one. Actually, I could probably talk about that one. Specific what? No, I don't want to talk about anything that happened. If you want to know what happened on that episode, you have to listen to it. But in retrospect of it, I will talk around it because yes, I can. So I think if I remember, like I have to remember a bit about how it occurred. So all the music that I played, like especially the music during that episode, I only played top 40 because I didn't have the guts to like talk to them, or like not talk, but arrange it for my show to be just a talking episode or play any music. Because normally with the radio show at the station there, if you wanted to do a quote unquote specialty show, you had to say what you were going to be doing and have it get it basically checked off to make sure that it was okay with, you know, the station manager and stuff like that. Normally what you have to do is you have to station call like technically every 30 minutes and do some new stuff and weather, whatever. I always did it every 15 minutes because I was paranoid and played top 30 thing. Like you have to play like something off the top 30, like 3 or 4 things on the top 30 every hour. So I basically did one every 15 minutes or tried to. And I think for that episode, I only did that. Because like I was talking a lot. It was a lot. Even some of like the stutters or repeats and things, I'm kind of surprised of how long it was. Hey, we got the Popsky Happy Thanksgiving. I'll drink to that. That I think was actually the Thanksgiving episode that I did for the radio show was not one of, I mean, I feel like it was the first time where like nobody was on campus, like absolutely dead. No one was on campus. I've done quite a few shows where like no one was on campus. I think the last show of the semester is a dead show. Not because like, oh, no one was listening to it. I mean, come on, it's at midnight. Who was listening? Let's be honest. I'm gonna be fairly honest. But when I think like no one else was really on campus, probably some like security people were walking around because like, there were some students like that didn't go home, or like RAs or something like that stayed behind during break or just had nowhere to go or whatever, were close. I know my freshman year, my RA that for that year was like from the area, so he could just go home, and like if anyone needed him, he could just leave home and go there. It wasn't too hard to get a hold of him. And he's actually a pastor now. Like I think he like he was only a year ahead of me, or ahead of us, and I think he was more of a business major, but I think like, I don't know if he dropped out entirely or what it was. I'd have to ask him, but he went to seminary, I guess, and by the time that I graduated, he was a full-fledged pastor. And I know exactly which church he does it at. And good for him. Good for him. I actually should I should go to one of his services. Not because like it's a different vibe. I know he is like a Lutheran pastor, but it's a different vibe, because even within that sort of church, it's like different. Like you can get different varying changes, and more traditional versus more contemporary. Or like you're walking in dressed Sunday best versus, oh yeah, I'm walking in with a t-shirt and jeans or a sweatshirt, because like I do that all the time. But yeah, for that, it's long tangent for that. But yeah, that was like, I think the first episode that I was just on campus doing a show, and then that morning is when I would like leave. Man, that was a crazy time. And also because like I had to stay behind at the end of semesters because of playing graduation, which was like after all the finals were done, because duh. So it was on that Friday, and I have to stay there the entire time so that way we could play. We got paid, of course, but the only ones that were chill were jeans and sweatshirts in my town growing up. Surprisingly enough, the Catholics. That's interesting. Oh, he's talking about churches. Okay, yeah. I mean, yeah, again, it depends on like what form of it, because there's so like, the interesting about religion, or even in the churches, it depends on like the form. Like even within like different Catholic churches, you have different, what, I don't know what the technical term is, like not denominations, like I would say organization is the best way to describe it. But like varying degrees of like what they accept, they have rules and things like that. It wouldn't be like more of like a denomination. They still, I think, for the most part, of like, oh, Catholics use this book, Lutherans use this book, something, yada yada yada. Like they follow the same book, but they have different ideals and structures within it, depending on whatever. But some can be more ass tight than others. I'm gonna be completely honest. Some are full of pretty much jerks. Some are not. I've had some pretty good. I've been in some pretty good ones. And again, here's the thing about religion and stuff like that. If you don't like a church that you go to, don't stop it. Like, if as long as you're still interested in the material and in what, the main whatever scripture thing says, find a different place to go to, because you are going to find people that you hate. You are going to find people that are going to make you uncomfortable. You're going to find that everywhere, obviously, but like, find a place that you feel like is home. That may take a while. That may not mean you're going to find it's close. You might have to go a distance. You might have to do it online. You might have to whatever. But find a place to do it. That is my best advice. I think in the podcast or in the radio show, I was more loose with it. Obviously, believe whatever you want to believe. I still maintain that. But at the same time, I don't think shunning out ideas is a right idea, right concept, especially in these times when we should be coming together with a fellow man and just being nice. Being nice. And that's the thing. Like the main Western religions like are all at the very basic are based off of the same thing. Like Judaism, Christianity, and and Islam are all based on the same thing. Essentials. Obviously, it varies, and as it keeps going on and on and on. But the very basic stuff is pretty much the same, and that's be a good person. Very end of it. No one is more perfect than anyone else. Ugh. Enough about that weird religious stuff. It's Thanksgiving. It is Thanksgiving. Uh, but religion is pretty cool. Bob, like, not to get anything into Popsky, what do you believe in? I know you've talked about it. Even communist Popsky over here, Comrade Popsky, gets it. Like, even if you don't believe in anything, it's a cool concept, even just in general, to talk about. Because, like, not only is it about, the belief stuff, it's about, like, the history of it, too. Whether you believe in it or not, there's history and stuff in there. And explains, like, I'm trying to think of a good, like, say, a magic card. There's a magic card called Swords of Plowshares. It's a white card. And I can't remember which Bible verse, but it's literally a Bible, like a thing in the Bible. It's like Swords to Plowshares. And there's a lot of stuff like that. And even like going like, and that's just a modern example. Like some of the things that we say now are more applicable to way, 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 way back. No, and that just made me think about it too. And I'm totally fine to talk about the fun stuff. But like even as outside of like, belief stuff, there's a lot of like historical trappings in between that like is very interesting. It's very interesting to think about. But it is Thanksgiving. It is Thanksgiving. I'm not really a huge turkey guy. I'll eat it. I'm more of a ham dude. I eat ham. Ham and au gratin potatoes. Oh, 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 you give me some cheesy potatoes. I'm gonna go ham. Literally. You give me any kinds of potatoes, I'm gonna go fucking crazy. Oh my mom made some dumplings. Oh god. Oh man. That's gonna be good. That's gonna be good. I remember when I was like living in my apartment, and one of the big things that we would do, or that I got from my family, I can't remember what time of the year it was. I went down and they had just made dumplings. So I took up like 3 or 4 or 5 bags, like 5 freezer bags of dumplings, and we made a shit ton. And like I think it was like 3 bags because I couldn't take that many. It wouldn't fit my freezer. But I took like 3 back, and I would just use that for meals. And, oh man, you get a little bit of butter, you get a bit of seasoning salt or something like that on it. Fry them up in a pan. Oh yeah, that's some good shit. Just get them nice and brown. Like golden brown. Ooh. 1 who fights 7. I don't. And stuffing. I'm a big stuffing guy. I like stuffing. I mean, depends on what you put in it, but I like stuffing. I don't like sweet potatoes. I never like. I get it, but like I don't get it. I just don't. Also, is are sweet potatoes like a different breed of potato, or is it like? Hold on, I want to find this out. Ooh, I almost crapped my pants. I want to find this out. Sweet potatoes versus regular potatoes. Yeah, I can't spell. I mean, I'm gonna look at the overview because, like, I really don't want to texture. I want to know, like, how. I'm real lame when it comes to things. Popsky99 says, I'm real lame when it comes to Thanksgiving. I pretty much eat meal, bread, and dessert. Honestly, yeah, I get it. I mean, you don't have to get fancy with it. You don't have to get like all technical. Like I'll probably get like a plate, maybe two, and then dessert. But like my plate, whenever there's a buffet, I feel like I'm usually not like stuffing it, like loading it up because like I don't have like a mound or stuff. I like to have it separated. I like to know what I'm eating, um, and like do it that way. I was teching an event the other week, and their guy that was like running the slides or whatever, like during lunch, like absolutely loaded his plate. Like I was surprised how much shit he got on that plate, and I'm like, I was about to question like, how are you gonna eat that? Like he had that whole plate loaded. Like it was concerning how much stuff was on that plate. And then he had like another side plate with desserts that also was like kind of loaded. For even though it was like smaller, it was still had a lot of stuff on. I'm like, dude, how are you gonna do that? But he managed it. He somehow got it all down. I don't know how. Uh, what's the how do you get? How do you how? I don't. I'm not seeing anything on like the topology. Like, what's I think they're just a different breed of potatoes, which doesn't. I whatever. Sure. Yes. Two massive plates, and it was so weird too. So weird. I'm like, how are you gonna eat that? And then he's like, yeah, you could go eat. I'm like, I already ate, but like, damn, that food looked good though. Uh, that guy had on his plate. I'm like, I would totally do it, but I already ate. Absolutely psychotic behavior of just loading it. Oh yeah, even for lunch earlier today, it was like tortellini, which like I go like blind over. I go like blind, and I wake up like in a fucking haze. Like, where am I? And I see my plate's empty. Like 2 minutes later, I go Venom, eating like that raw chicken in the first movie. Like that's me on cheese tortellini. So it was that, but on the side they give you like mixed vegetables, but it's like carrots, broccoli, and I can't stand it. I still can't to this day cauliflower. And usually when I get the cheese tortellini, the person that's serving it puts it off to the side, and that's what I would normally assume. But the person that was serving it put it on top, and I didn't have the time nor willingness to say, hey, can you put it on the side? And then all of a sudden they put the cheese stuff because it had cheese on top of it, whatever. And it was already too late. So I'm like, son of a bitch, I gotta pay attention this time. So it took me like it took me a little second to, obviously get that done. And man, I still tore up that plate though. It's like, man, you're making me focus when I have to eat. I just want to look at YouTube video, and all of a sudden I'm like, oh, it's gone. I want to make it look like I got robbed on my plate. Come on. But I know my belly's full. Come on. Yeah, get a good cheese tortellini. Oh, ooh, I go feral. Like I remember one time at college, or a couple times at college, they served it on the main line. I told, like, I got up to the line and I told them, load up that plate. I kept saying, keep going. And they're like, more? Keep going. And I told them, I was like, do you want any sauce? I'm like, no, no sauce. They were like reaching for, like, no sauce, just the tortellini. Give it. I destroyed it. And then in less than 10 minutes, I went up for another bowl and absolutely destroyed the second one. That's how much and how bad I go for cheese tortellini. On God. And that's on God. For real. Although typically where I get lunch, the cafeteria, whatever thing, it's a running gag that's not good. But like they do some good stuff, but typically it's like, oh yeah, I eat it. Less than 20 minutes later, I'm gonna shit it out. I'm definitely gonna shit it out. I held it down though. Although I did drop a generational brown, or the hintings of a generational brown, and a phantom wipe. I did phantom wipe today. Actually, it was more like deer pellets. If I'm gonna be honest, it was more deer pellets. Like you could tell, like there's some deer corn somewhere. This one had the bait. Escaped the hunting. My knee itchy. You know what? It's time. You know what? It's time for me to. It's time for me to open up some card packs. I'm talking about shitting. I need to get off of it. Give me a second, cause I didn't pull it up. Okay, I pulled it up. So, it's also Black Friday. Last year, I got a sheet of paper, and throughout the entire year, I've loaded up this, like, the receipt that I got from whatever Black Friday weekend that I got from my local game store. And I just kept putting all of the single price cards things that I got throughout the year on here. This is what it looks like. It's like thick and it's stiff. Like it's stiff. And like I think the most expensive one that you can visibly see is like $14. But I know there's more expensive ones on here that I do not want to disclose, nor do I know what it is. I just know that there's more expensive ones. Although the ones that are more expensive on here did get at a sale price, so yeah. I do need to check their deals though, because I'm going there again, and I'm going to spend an undisclosed amount, and I'm not gonna say how much it is. But my bank account is gonna hate me. Let's just say. So, anyways, let's open up these 3 packs of foundations. Maybe I get a foundation thing because I probably do need something to open. Because I'm burning through this box because, oh my god, it's so fun. It's such a fun set. So we got a Courageous Goblin. I'm just going to skip some of the bulk because we can keep this episode going, I feel like. We got Adventuring Gear for the uncommon, Sunbrace Healer, Fiendish Panda, Snakeskin Veil. For the rare, we got a Anthem of Champions, +1/+1 for creatures you control. Literally an anthem. We got a Quake Strider Ceratops. Oh, that's pretty cool. A 12/8? That's nice. Ooh, Scion of the Deep for the token. I don't like it. I hate octopi. I'm just going to say it. I hate octopi. I hate squids. I do it. I hate squids. We got an insect token. Move. Get off. Okay, we got broken wing. All right, let's get through these commons. All right. We got a reassembling. My opinion on the word squidusy. I'll get to that in a second. My opinion on the word squidusy. Reassembling skeleton, Stormkirk blood thief, mild mannered librarian. Ooh, we got tiny bones. Bobble burglar. An opponent discards a card, exile it from the graveyard, stash counter on it. During your turn, you may play cards exiled that you don't own. Ooh, I'm gonna put this in my exile deck. Ooh, we got a scrawling crawler full art. That's nice. And what's behind it? We got a Fey Bloom trick. And something else I don't know. I'm doing like an exile card deck where I'm playing cards from exile. It's not even on my Mox field. It's something that I'm brewing. Eventually it'll happen. I have so many decks that I have in building. I think at one point I had like 30. Not actually 30, but like I think right now I have like 17 of varying degrees of ready. Maybe 8, 17. 17. Stoop. Ooh, nice art card. And this one has a signature on it from the artist. Get through the commons. We got a Savannah Alliance, Warden of the Cycle, Self-Reflection, Felling Blow. Oh, shit. We got an Archmage of Runes. Instant sorcery spells cost 1 less to cast. Whenever you cast an instant sorcery spell, draw a card. The foil is an inspiration from beyond. And then Schwamp. Okay, cards. Decent. I think the Tiny Bones is the funnest one. But like, not too crazy. Maybe Full Art Scrawling Crawler is the best card from this. I don't really know. Gotta make sure I don't mess up my mic, because it was about to fall. Turn that off. But yeah. Oh, speaking of me making very poor financial decisions, I got a tattoo. I've been planning this one for years, and I've finally done it. For those who know, let me get a photo of it. It's the Joestar tattoo, but I gotta pull it up on my phone. Hold on, give me a second. Oh, here it is. Oh wait, no, wrong app. Here it is. There it is. And it's right in the right spot too. Oh, I gotta. So, for those who snow. Oh, I gotta give my opinion on the word squidusy. Speaking of outsider. So basically, the Joestar, for those who like for JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, just basically the main protagonist. They have a birthmark. That means that they're basically. It doesn't really mean a whole lot. It just means like they're like, oh, they're gonna fight evil or something like that. Just like a branding of it, I guess. It has more symbolism as the series goes on, from 1 to 6. It really only starts in part 3, technically. But it means that like, oh, the Brandos and the Joestars are like all linked together with this birthmark, with the star birthmark, because it's Joestars. The lineage, something like that. I don't know. But in the anime, it does have it in parts 1 and 2. You don't really see them too much, but it's more referenced in 3 and onwards. But then in 6, it has a lot more significance, but then it becomes also insignificant. I'm not getting into that. It's irrelevant. part 6 was a mess when it was coming out. So, although it had a lot of concepts, whatever, I'm not getting into it. But yeah, it I think I have the band-aid on now cuz like it's healing. Um yeah, earlier it just leaked all over me cuz pus and stuff. It's got to heal. It's got to heal, but yeah, I like felt it and it was a little wet. It was a little wet. Seeped out a lot of not blood, more pus, which is gross to say, but it's dried. And why I'm wearing this now cuz like I don't want it to leak. And I'm just like kind of like poking it every now and then just to feel like, "Oh, is it wet? Is it wet?" Which I don't think I'm supposed to do, but like it's also at the same time, is it fine that I do that? I gotta be sure. I know Lovey knows, but like, is it fine that like I'm not like ooh? No, I'm just kind of like feeling to make sure like it's not feeling like I'm poking a zit. Cool. Okay, it's fine because like I don't want to be like like in my sleep, wake up soaked in fucking pus. I don't want to do that. That's nasty. That's nasty. But yeah, it's still got to heal. But one, it looked like the picture that I showed, that was before touch ups and blood. When I should have probably said that there was like gore state, whatever. Yeah, too much or seeping through the edges. You can take a band-aid off. It's not too bad. Like it's not sliding around or anything. So it's literally been like 6 hours, so it's gonna stay on there. It's gonna stay on there. I'm just like poking at it just to make sure that it doesn't get to that point. But yeah, it's totally fine. Nothing I haven't been through before. Show also poor decisions. So now that we're talking, am I hearing someone snoring? What the heck? I know you guys don't hear it, but like either someone's using the bathroom or it sounds like someone's snoring like a motherfucker. It's bad. Damn. Thank you, compression. Thank you. Audio compressors. Actually, more of a gate. It's a gate. I mean, like, you would actually hear it anyways. You wouldn't. But, but speaking, but yeah, I was planning to do the tattoo for years. Like, years. Like, even when I was doing the radio show, I think that's kind of when I planned to do it. Or sometime when I was doing the show, maybe even before, I don't know. But I think I really finalized the plan in 2020, and I didn't really do it until like I was going to do it last year, but then I like kind of forgot slash wimped out on it. I could have, or it was 2 years ago. I don't remember. Uh, but yeah, I was going to do it earlier, but I just never got to it, and I kind of out, just wimped out. And it was good that I had another person to help me out because like that's had a tattoo before, because like I would have been fucking blind. And plus, like where is on my back, it's better to have someone there that knows what I'm talking about. So that was good to have. But I think it's gonna be so good once it's done, once it's healed, and once it's there. Oh, it's gonna be so good. Like if it fades a bit, perfect. I don't care. That'll make it look so much better. But like even now, ooh, it's gonna be good. So good. Oh man. Yeah. That's gonna be once it's but yeah, I wanted that for like the longest time. And I've also made thought of different, did it hurt? Yes. Yes. Imagine, you know how in like school someone would always like stab you with a pencil, like a not like a mechanical pencil. It's kind of like that a lot. A little bit more sharp, but like you can feel it. I feel like it's less painful than like, when you're getting a shot. I feel like you can feel it dig more, but you can't it's not as painful as like getting a shot or a little bit below that. Like below getting like a COVID shot. Like those shots hurt. Or a flu shot. Getting those shots, I feel like hurt more. Or like scale wise, I think you're going through more pain during a tattoo, especially the size of mine. It wasn't a lot, but I feel like because it was like acclimated to it, it felt less at that point, you know. But honestly, it felt a lot less painful than like a shot, or less. But the initials, like can be weird. I think the other tattoo that I wanted to do, I don't know if I want to do it there because I plan on doing it on my wrist, which is probably the absolute worst place to do it, or one of the worst places to do it because veins right here, like oh, oh, and it's also twitchy, so I don't trust that shit. Although I know guys who've done it before, so I know one guy I've worked with. He's not on like my team or my work team, but he has like a whole arm tattoo. Not like his whole arm tattooed it, but like he has a very cool tattoo. He has a cool name too as well. Like every time that we see him there, we're like, hell yeah, brother. Like he's good at what he does. Like very good. And it's incredible the company that he's with still has him because he's like expert level. There's no reason for him to be as good as he is. And he's so like chill. Like I've never seen him be like stressed in any show. And we've had him in some fucking bad ones too. Oof. Chill dude. Oh, speaking of things that have happened as well, making bad decisions. Uh so on Friday, I got to meet one of my other streaming buddies that I've known for the longest time. And he has been on the podcast before. This is before Spotify people aren't going to know. They don't know. But so when I was trying to get my affiliate, I remember I was doing basically a week before Christmas of just streaming and trying to get to that affiliate before Christmas. And that whole entire week I would do a stream every night just to get my average viewer up because like that was the biggest thing. That was the hardest thing to do. And I would do marbles all the time, marbles on stream and maybe some other stuff, but it was mainly marbles because that was fun. Honestly, doing that was fun. Just commentating online races with viewers. That was basically what it was. And luckily enough, I got it. And one of the people that really helped me with that, because I think my sub was enough. My not sub, I mean followers were enough. But the hardest thing, if you're trying to get Twitch affiliate, is getting that average viewer thing at 3. But once it's there, it's there. But I think one of the biggest ones that helped me, even though it wasn't the thing that got me over the edge to do it, was my buddy who I've met this past weekend in real life, Tart Tizzle. He's on Twitch, he's on YouTube, he's on other things as well. He apparently, I mean, we've met him. He's also from the same Discord thing that me, Popsky, and Outsider, and a bunch of other things from our friend group we're in, which is incredible because he also lives in Minnesota. Weird coincidence. Um, I mean, at the time he was going to college in another state, but like I know where his college is. I've been to his campus, and like I think he had like one of his viewers from like Europe, and he went to their wedding over the summer. It's in a video. It's in a video. You if you want to go see it's on YouTube. It's the pizza episode. If you see me doing the pizza thing, that's the one that you got to watch if you want to know the context for that. So, I went to his house. He's the bald guy. He's the bald guy. Uh so his last subathon that he wanted to do for the longest time. Uh one of the things that happened very early on is he did auditions for like a mod because like he had mods for the longest time, but he wanted to get another mod in there because it was one of the goals, and he did auditions. And so obviously I was there at the time when it happened. I'm like, I got this shit in the bag. Like I know I could do this. So I auditioned, had an amazing audition, got the thing. But the stipulation that I made was that I could do some mod stuff for a little bit. And that's what happened during the subathon. But once the thing was over, I wasn't a mod until it happened in real life. So, over the weekend, or over Saturday, Saturday night, or Friday night, Saturday morning, we went and visited. It was more about like one of his viewers, the viewer that he was from Europe, that he went to their wedding. She visited because she wanted to visit the U.S., which I could get into a long conversation about that because like foreign exchange students and things like that. But we were just like, okay, it was a party about that, and we got some people that were from like some OGs from his chat that he knew from college and things like that. And I knew a good chunk of them just because, I've known from online in his chat and all that stuff. So it was good to meet a lot of the people from the chat, or like from some of the OGs. And Lovey knows who they are now, and I know who they are now. I know their real names. I'm not gonna say them because I don't I don't want to do that unless if they're fine with it. Especially with Tardy. No, I'm not gonna do that. I'm not gonna do that to my boy. Although we are basically birthday bros. We're like 2 days apart. Like, no joke. Bet it's Swan. No. I will say that. It's not that. It's weird though. We're like 2 days apart. Both born in Arizona. Like crazy. But yeah. So during that thing, we had a stream there that the VOD of it's not there because we got drunk. So on the stream itself, I'm trying to think of how many beers I've had. So starting out the stream is when I started drinking. The start of the stream is when I started drinking. I had a seltzer, like a Happy Thursday seltzer. And then we did a Mario Kart race, which is Mario Kart, but you got to by the end of the race, you have to finish a beer. So I had that one beer, and then we got like a sub goal or something like that we had to do a beer bong. So we all did a beer bong. So one beer, so our 2 beers in, and a seltzer. And then immediately right after that, we had to do a shotgun race. So 3 beers and a seltzer already. I'm at 4. I have another seltzer, 5. And I found a box, which will be important in a second, that had a question mark on it. And it should be important in a bit. So that. I think we did another beer. I can't remember why. I feel like I've had another beer there. This is where I'm starting to get a little lost. I 2 seltzers. No, I'm going to take that one beer away. So I got the 5. I'm not going to count the mystery box yet. And then what did we do? Oh, we did a game basically where it's like beer pong. Actually, beer pong, we had another seltzer. Yep, I had another seltzer, so 6. Fuck. Uh, and then after that, we were doing this game where it was like kind of like beer pong, but like you had one cup, and if you got it in the cup, you pass it to the next person. But if the person behind you got theirs in, they had to slam it onto your cup. And if you got slammed, you had to take a drink. But if like you got your ping pong ball into one of the beer cups, or you know whatever, you got slammed, you had to take a drink. So that was a thing, and you could. There's a lot of rules to that. I was sober that entire game. I didn't drink shit. Lovey was probably the one that had it the worst. Either that, it was Tart. I can't remember who had it the worst. I think it might have been Tart. But on my side of the table, I like got out of it every single time, and there were some scary freaking moments too. Like, on God, I was, I don't, I can't believe I got out of some of the ones I did. Like, it was sweaty. But I got clean out of that, and they got another beer after that. Wait, no, I had that, and then okay, then you had to chug the final cup, which is so sad. Oh boy. Okay, and then I think after that is when the knighting ceremony. So we get to the special box, the mystery box, and inside the box is a Smirnoff Ice. And the rules about Smirnoff Ice: if you find it, you have to drink it. But the stipulation that Tart enacted, right, because it was the knighting ceremony, I had to finish that thing in 7 seconds. Now, a beer bottle in 7 seconds, which is damn near impossible, unless if like you're doing like getting some good air in that. So he's like, "Oh, the second it touches your lips, that's when the timer starts." So guess what I didn't do? Touch my lips. Yeah. I think I might post that video, honestly, on my thing, because it's good on my Discord, because it's funny. I did it though. uh, and yeah, I'm knighted as one of his mods, and I did it. But then later on, we were standing outside because some people were smoking, smoking ciggies, but they also had some weed, and I also was the first time I tried weed, and honestly, it's not my thing. It's not my thing. I get it, but I don't get it. Like, I took it, like the first time I tried, I was like, it was already like kind of gone by that point, so it was like not really anything. So we freshly packed a new thing. And as it's freshly packed, I took a massive hit. Like a massive hit. Like everyone there was like, dude, slow the fuck down. And I did as they instructed. I did exactly as they instructed. Like, stop when it starts to burn. Like before it starts to burn. And I did that. Obviously releasing whatever. Just let out a big, big one. I'm like, this shit is nothing. Like, this is weed. This is nothing. Seconds later, I start coughing like a freaking storm. Dude, it was nasty. I was down bad. It was so hilarious, though. Oh, man. I will say, though, I stayed up to like, I was kind of faded by the time that I went to not faded. I was like kind of already nodding off. I think I went to bed at like 4 a.m. Woke up at like 9. And yeah, I worked a whole of the shift later in that day, and yeah. Oh, Popsky's hitting that below right now. Yeah. I mean, it wasn't a bad thing, but like the thing about one of the people that were there was like checking in on us because like after we hit it, we're like, she's like, oh, make sure that no one is brushing into it because we were mixing alcohol and weed, which, if you do too much of both of them together, it can be very bad. Luckily for I, at least for me, I was good. I don't think Lovey had anything bad. It wasn't. I don't think we killed the vibe or killed our vibes or anything like that. I think it was good. We didn't hit it too hard, and we only did it like once. So that was the big thing. It's like we only did like one puff. And that's it. But yeah, honestly, I mean, if I get offered it again, I'll probably do it. But like, also at the same time, it's not. I don't really care for it. I really don't. Like, I get it, but I also don't. It's not for me. But man, that was a fun. But yeah, it was a fun night. It was a very fun night. I hope to get to hang out with some of the people again, because like some of them are a lot like closer to where we. Honestly, I'm I'm thinking maybe in the future, maybe getting like a house or something like that, similar to what the Gradients boys have, and having some of the people over, because that sounds like something. That sounds like something. Sounds like fun. But I don't know. Maybe in the future, like renting a house, not like for a weekend. No, like finding a house, because that would be fun. That'd be fun to do. If someone like gets a whatever, it would be very fun to hang out with the gang and you know just party. Within reasonable levels, obviously, but like. But I wonder where would be a good spot that we would all do it. I mean, we would probably have to go up to Fargo Moorhead if I'm being completely honest, because a lot of the people that are in the main Pop Cider universe are there. So yeah, it would be cool to see some of the people up there. Uh, but I think should we round home plate? No, I think. But yeah, it was a fun night. Like I feel like yeah, that'd be most centralized location, even though it'd be a drive for some of us. I swear to God. I swear to God, I can't put two people together. And I'm one of those guys. I'm one of those guys, even back in college, I'm one of those guys that wants to, you know, organize shit. But every single time I try to organize shit, plans always fall through. It's like, that was the hardest thing. It's still the hardest thing for me to get over. Because, like, I get scheduling and things like that. It's commitment issues that, like, I have just the hardest gripe with. And whenever I try to make plans with someone, and I don't mean this to anyone that knows me or whatever, but, like, if I make plans or if someone says they make plans, I try to hold people accountable for that stuff. And I get like people can like oops here whatever, but like if it happens a lot, that's where I get a little bit more irritated. Um but it's not out of any malice or anything like that. It's just that like that's my personal characters. Like when plans get stomped on all the time, that's when I want to start like I don't want to say pointing the gun, just more holding people accountable for what they want to do. And especially if it's like someone that wants to do something. Like, hey, if you want to do it, do it. Like, I don't want to peer pressure, but I am going to peer pressure to a certain point. I'd say, oh, hell, like, I would accept, like, if someone's like, hey, you should have gotten this tattoo years ago. It's like, yeah, if someone pressed me into doing it, I would have done it. But the perfect thing about the tattoo is that technically, if I was to do it correctly, I think today or, yesterday or the Wednesday, was the right day to do it, because that's the start of part 3, the first mention of the Joestar birthmark, which I think, I want to say there's like 3 days or so before like the actual, events of part 3 happen. Maybe 4. Let's just say 4. That events start happening. And yeah, because I feel like, let me try to think. Yeah, because it would have been like the 30th when, I'm trying to think. Yeah, it would have been today. Would have been today that the prison break would, the prison, or Joseph would have gotten Jotaro out of prison. Then the next day would have been the Kakyoin fight. But then the day afterwards, they wake up in the morning. Oh, Holly's in a coma. Would have been December 1st, and they have 50 days to get it done, or get that shit done, and they did. The 50 days to Egypt and defeat Dio, and they did. So technically was a day behind, but it's also not. So I got it at the beginning of part 3. That's why I wanted to get it when I wanted to get it. I was going to do it last year, or 2 years ago, but I didn't. I just never did. But that was the reason behind the whole reason behind getting the tattoo when I got the tattoo. So yeah. But I should wrap this thing up now. If you want to listen to this, you can want to watch this live and interact in the chat, like Popsky and Levy are doing right now. You can go to twitch.tv/MeltAlertOriginal, where you can not only interact in the chat while this is going on, but you can watch this episode live. You can watch the after show. You can watch the VOD of this. You can watch other streams. What else can I offer? Come on. What else can I offer? Come on. I don't know. You can watch me edit this? Come on. You won't appear in the video of this, but hey, I see what's happening in the chat right now. I see them. I see they're talking about where Popsky lives. But not actual location. But yeah. So anyways, but if you do miss the 2-week period that the episode is up, because it will eventually go away, you can watch the edited VOD on YouTube, as all the other episodes up to this point. And I farted. And you could go onto Spotify, where you can listen to the 100 episodes and stuff like that. And the radio show, which this week's episode, this is the one to listen to. As I mentioned earlier in the podcast, this week's episode 7, the promo, listen to that one. It's real good. It's primer. Literally the rest of the show, from what I can remember, obviously it's different, things like that. That episode is how the rest of the show is. The rest of the show. Exactly like that. That sets the standard. So yeah. Go listen to that one. Really sets the standard. I love it. Yeah. Oh, thank you to Gradients for the use of their song "Used to It" off the album The Call. They're still working on their album, or their singles and stuff like that, but they should have a new album next year. I think. Oh yeah. I think their next song is coming out tomorrow. The next single, I think, should be coming out tomorrow, if I'm not mistaken. The 29th, on Black Friday. I think it's coming out, if I remember correctly. I know they released a promo, so I think it is. If I remember correctly, it's not enough time to check, but I'm pretty sure it is. But if it is, check it out. If it isn't, eyes up. So, what else? I think that's pretty much it. Thank you guys for listening, watching, doing what you do, and all that other stuff. But as I look at the time, it's not midnight here anymore. However, it is midnight somewhere else. But until it becomes midnight here once again, I will see you later. But until then, bye-bye.
Yeah, well, just when I needed you, I see from a different view. Oh, baby, now don't be scared, but don't get used to it. Yeah, when I told her I can't let go, when I told her I can't say no. Oh, baby, well, I was scared, but now I'm used to it. I was scared, but now I'm used to it.